Hello? Where am I? What is this? Hello? Anybody out there? This isn't funny! Hello? Anybody out there? Hello? Anybody out there? Hello? Where am I?
Believe it or not, that short film you just watched was made using nothing more than an iPhone, a small tripod and some household lights. My name is Ross, my colleagues Jackie and Daniel and I are professional filmmakers, and over the next few lessons we will be teaching you how to make your very own short film right from your own home. In the first lesson, we're going to talk about conceptualizing your film, developing your idea by thinking about character and story and writing a script. In the next lesson, we'll talk about all the different types of camera angles and shots you can use to help your story in a creative and interesting way. We'll also talk about creating a storyboard, which will be a kind of blueprint you will need to help visualize how your story will unfold on screen. In lesson 3, we'll go through the actual filming process. We'll show you how to make the most of whatever camera you're using and also how to record good quality sound. Next, we'll spend a lesson talking about creative DIY lighting, which can be a lot of fun and will really help to take your film to the next level. Finally, you'll learn about editing and how to use simple computer software or apps on your phone to put your whole film together. Along the way, we'll give you some great insider tips that will help you understand the best techniques for putting a film together, no matter what editing software might be available to you. The last session will be a live chat where we'll review everything we've learned, answer any of your pressing questions, and have a chance to look at some of the films you've created. Throughout all of the lessons, we'll be referring to our own short film, Unboxing, in order to demonstrate what we're talking about and give you a behind-the-scenes look at how it was made. We'll also throw in some handy tips and tricks along the way to help you start thinking about your own films and how you can apply what you're learning. At the end of the lessons, we'll have plenty of time for review and questions, so please write down any of your questions and comments along the way and we'll be sure to answer them later. Right, let's jump right in. I'm going to hand you over to Daniel, who will talk to you about coming up with an idea for your film.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm a filmmaker. No matter how much experience you have making films, it's very easy to get stuck when coming up with ideas. Sometimes you're just not sure where to start. But luckily, there are a few tips and tricks that you can use to get inspired. One of the first things you can do is to think about the genre of the film you want to make. You may have heard of that word genre before. It basically refers to the type of film or particular category your film fits in. Every film fits into a genre, and some into a range of genres. Some of the main ones are action, comedy, drama, fantasy, horror, crime, thriller, science fiction, historical, western. From there you can dive deeper into the subgenres. Thriller, for example, could be a crime thriller, disaster thriller, psychological thriller. Drama could be a war drama or a romantic drama. To help, perhaps think of some of your favorite films and have a think about what genre they fall into.
Hello?
Help me. Please help me.
Who is this? Oh. What do you want? Who are you?
Help me. I've been here so long. Please help me. When are you going to get here?
What are you talking about? I'm going home. This is really starting to creep me out. Hello? Who's this?
Help me. Help me, please. I'm trapped forever. Help me.
Hi everyone, Jackie, Ross and I are fans of horror and science fiction, so we decided to make a film that could fall into one of those two categories. We also watched some popular films within those genres to get inspiration too. Once you've decided on your genre, you need to think about the story, what's going to happen in the beginning, middle and end. But more specifically, what's the film's plot? So plot refers to the chain of events that happen within your story. How does your character get from A to B? What drives the story forward? One of my biggest tips when you're thinking about your film is to keep it simple. Some of the films that you watch on TV or in the cinema are shot over weeks and months, sometimes over a couple of years, and it involves lots and lots of crew members. Unfortunately, you don't have that much time, but it doesn't mean you can't make a great film. Just give yourself a realistic goal. Make sure your film is no more than 2 to 3 minutes long and allow your story to unfold within that time. And also, I'd say have one and at most maybe 2 main characters that drives the story. Something else to consider and to help with inspiration is to think about what's available to you. What locations are available to you? What props or costumes can you use in your film? These are things that can help you think about the story and what the story could be. For example, when coming up with our idea for unboxing, we had 3 great options for location. We could use our office here at Chocolate Films, we could use a park next to the office, or we could use our empty studio space. We had a look at each of those locations, both for inspiration, and started to think about what would be the most ideal choice for the filming. The office is great and it's out of the way of the general public. We also considered that our production team is busy at the moment and they work all day long, and it might be distracting if we're filming around them. The park seemed like a great choice and had lots of space and had lots of little creepy areas that would be perfect for a horror film. But then we also thought about sound. There's lots of noise around. Planes are flying above, and there's lots of construction going on around the site. So we thought it wouldn't be great if we're trying to capture clean sound, especially when recording dialogue. So we decided that the park was going to be a bit too difficult to work in. Lastly, we looked at the empty studio space. The space was kind of plain, but also a bit creepy because it was just so empty. We thought it would be horrible if we were trapped in a room like this. And just like that, we had an idea for our horror film. Something else to consider when coming up with your idea is that sometimes films can have a theme or an important lesson that the character learns by the end. In horror, the ending isn't always a happy one, especially for the main character. So sometimes it's the audience that can learn the lesson. We thought our film could be a great opportunity for audiences to think about the idea of avoiding temptation and to trust your instincts when making a decision. Whatever the idea that you come up with for your film, just always ask yourself the question, as an audience member, would you find this interesting? What do you want your audiences to be thinking or feeling when the film ends? Okay, so once you're done with the brainstorming and you have a great idea for your film, the next thing you need to think about is how to develop the story and write a script. My colleague Jackie will tell you exactly how we did this for our film, Unboxing, and give you some great tips on how to start developing your film and writing your very own script.
If you're still feeling really stuck trying to think of an idea for your film, here's a great tip. We often collect things from around the office or things we find at home and kind of have a look at them and see how they might inspire a story idea. So for example, if you've decided you want to do a comedy, maybe you find something like a hat. This is from our costume box. And I'm thinking maybe there's a construction worker and he's trying to build something and everything's going wrong. He saws his hammer in half, or he keeps hitting himself with things and the thing he's trying to build isn't coming together. Something like that. Something else that jumps out at me is we found this caution tape and a pair of handcuffs from our costume box. So automatically with these things, I'm thinking a crime thriller, some kind of murder mystery that needs to get solved. That's great. And the last thing that jumps out to me, maybe these fun glasses. Maybe these could fit into the fantasy genre, and every time my character puts them on, he can see something that nobody else can see. That's really exciting. For our short film, Unboxing, we were inspired by a simple, ordinary box that we just found around the office, and we were thinking of this guy trapped in this room, and we wanted to make something really scary, and somebody pointed out that this could be really mysterious and add that creepy element we were looking for our film. So really, really simple idea. Just keep your ideas really simple, and there are no bad ideas to start out with. Just be inspired by anything and everything around you, and an idea will definitely come your way.
So here I am, the best basketball player in Merton. But things weren't always like this. Wait, no, have you heard?
What?
Rayshawn Rhodes is coming to Man.
Yeah, I heard that still. No, but I doubt we'd be able to see him.
He's got bare skills, man. I bare want to play ball with him.
Wait, you play basketball?
No, man, I just carry this ball around for fun.
I'm just kidding. But still, like, we've got to warm up for this match because we got a big game. Yeah.
It's a shame.
How's
it going? Alex, you know what I just saw?
What?
I saw the SW19s practice a couple minutes ago. We need to beat them, we need to win this.
Why are you worrying? You know we're going to win anyways. Besides, let's go train.
Ball! Oh! Oh!
Yo, is this your ball?
Yeah.
Look! It's Rayshawn Rhodes!
Yeah, no, good for you guys though.
Oh.
You're gonna play ball and nose, yeah? No, man, it's not wrong. We're training still. I say play us 4v4 like real man. You're on.
Alex, here, Alex.
No, man, you'll get them next time, man.
Ah.
Got this.
So here I am, the best basketball player in Merton. I blew up overnight. Don't know what happened when we shook hands, but it changed me. If I was to sum up how I feel, it would definitely be proud.
Hi guys, my name is Jackie, and my job at Chocolate Films involves a lot of script writing. Scripts are so important for filmmaking because it's important to know exactly how your story will unfold before you start shooting. It's also a great way to make sure that everyone involved with the filming is on the same page and can start communicating together about the best ways to go ahead capturing the story on film. After coming up with the main concept for our film, a man who gets trapped in a room alone with a creepy box that he's not supposed to open, It was time to start thinking about exactly what was going to happen and write it all down in the form of a script. To get started, just remember that every film needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning will set up your story, introduce your main character, known as the protagonist, and establish your main plot point, which is known as the inciting incident. In most films, there's always a problem that the protagonist has to solve or overcome. This is what makes it dramatic. Any series of events can be a story. I woke up and I went to the bathroom and I brushed my teeth. That's great, but it's not very interesting. Stories that we tell on film need to be dramatic. I woke up and I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth and there was an alien in my bathtub. Now there is a story. There's drama. There's a problem that I have to solve. The middle of your film should be where your protagonist faces their problem. The drama should continue to build until the protagonist reaches a pivotal moment. And then the end of the film is where the story starts to come to some sort of resolution. This doesn't necessarily have to be a happy ending, or even a really satisfying one, but our character should be left, for better or worse, having experienced a journey and learned a lesson. So, for us, we started with the beginning. We knew that we wanted to have a man trapped in a room with this creepy box. How did he get there? Was he abducted by aliens? Did someone put him in there? Is he dreaming the whole thing? There were lots of really great possibilities. Too many, in fact. The more we talked about what was happening beforehand, the more we realized that it was actually a bit creepier not to know. This is an important element of filmmaking too. Sometimes the information that we don't give to the audience is just as important as the information that we do give to them. This is especially true for short films where there isn't much time to tell your story. We don't always need to know all of the backstory, which is called exposition. We just need to know enough information to understand what's happening in the present moment. So we decided for our film that the man trapped in the room was the beginning. He would just wake up there. Our protagonist would just suddenly wake up in this strange room with no idea where he was or how he got there. Really creepy. Next, we would introduce the strange box that Daniel found. We wanted to make it clear to the character and to the audience that this box was a temptation. Taking some inspiration from horror films we've seen before, we decided to introduce a cryptic message. This is what's known as a trope. Every genre has its own tropes. They are significant or recurring themes that you'll find in the same genre. For instance, zombies in apocalypse films, or showdowns in Western films, or the geek-to-chic makeovers that happen in most romantic comedies. Tropes can become cliché, so it's important to try to make sure that your film isn't predictable, but they can also be a really useful way to infuse your story with meaning and help audiences to recognize what is happening. For our film, we knew that a creepy, sinister message written on the wall is never a good sign and would immediately allow our audiences to recognize that this is a horror film and that our character was in a scary, possibly even dangerous situation. So we've got our main character, a creepy box, and a cryptic message. How will the film end? We wanted to teach our audiences a lesson about the danger of giving in to temptation, so we knew that the film would have to end with the man opening the box. But what would happen after he opened it? Again, we tried to think of something that would be simple to achieve, but also really effective. We thought about having the box explode, or something really scary inside of the box coming out to attack him. But finally, we thought of what would scare us the most. My biggest fear is claustrophobia. And I thought, what if he gets stuck inside the box? This was a perfect, scary ending. Unfortunate for our main character, maybe, but certainly would teach our audiences a lesson about avoiding temptation.
Hello? Where am I?
Great. So once you've thought of how you want your film to begin and end, all you really need to do is figure out the middle bit. The best way to do this is to keep asking yourself, what happens next? And consider all of the possibilities. This is also a good time to think about your character development. It's important to understand who your protagonist is. You might think about where they came from, who their family is, or what are their likes and dislikes. This is called backstory. None of it's really necessary information that your audience needs to know, but it's important for you as the writer and the director to know because it will help you decide how this character will act and react to everything that happens to him. For instance, our character is a relatively young man. He's strong and clever, but his biggest weakness is his ego. He assumes that he can handle any situation, which makes him overly confident and sometimes means that he takes dangerous risks, like deciding to open a mysterious box, even though he's been warned not to. Again, there are lots of great options. The obvious thing that any person would do in this situation would be to run for the door. So our character should probably do this. He could run for the door, open it, and run away screaming. Okay, that's a story, but it's not a very interesting one. So we decided to lock the door. Now he's trapped in the room with the box that he's not supposed to open. It's important that our story should build. Everything that happens in your film should be adding drama and excitement to the plot. You've probably heard the term climax when referring to the most exciting or pivotal moment in a film. Everything that happens in the film should be building towards the climax, and then afterwards, working towards a resolution or an ending. A good way to make sure that your story is building is to use the phrase "and so" to connect each series of events. And so helps you think of how your story will unfold in a logical way and how to drive the action forward. A man wakes up in a room with a strange box. He sees a creepy message on the wall that tells him not to open the box. And so he runs for the door, but the door is locked. And so he starts trying to break through it. We just figured out what happens next. The man needs to start figuring out how to break open the door. Now we want to add drama. And since we were making a horror film, we started thinking about how to make the situation even scarier.
Hello, anybody out there?
We also wanted to add more temptation to the box, so we decided the box starts whispering to him and enticing him forward, and so the man starts desperately clawing at the door trying to get out. Now we've reached the climax of our film. This is the pivotal moment of our film where the situation couldn't possibly get any worse and it's do or die for our character. And now we need to get him to the end. So in the last possible second, he manages to break the lock and the box stops whispering to him and he's just about to leave. But the mystery of the box remains and he's still very curious about what's inside and he has an important decision to make. Does he open it or does he leave it well alone and make his escape? For us, the decision was easy because we've already decided how we want the film to end and that we want to teach our audiences an important lesson about avoiding temptation. So it's best to show our audiences the consequences of what's going to happen if you give in to temptation. And we wanted our protagonist to end up trapped inside this box, so of course our decision was to have him go and open the box and then get sucked inside, finding himself completely trapped just like he was at the beginning of the film. And there we have it, a fully developed idea with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and an important theme and a relatable character.
Do you have the time?
Yeah, sure. Knock. Wait, I know you.
No!
It's Tuesday, 5th of August 2014. This interview is being tape recorded. I am Chief Inspector Smith, based at Scotland Yard. I work for the Homicide Department. Please state your name.
Lolita Huntington.
You said earlier it was okay to call you Lola?
Yeah, that's my name.
For the purpose of this interview, can you confirm your date of birth, please?
10th of February 1981. Can I have some water, please?
You've chosen not to have a solicitor present?
That's because I didn't do anything wrong.
There has been a series of severe crimes in this area. We need you to account for your movement on the 1st of July 2014, when your known associate Vinnie Brookstein was beaten to a bloody pulp.
I've already been over this. I was on my own, letting off some steam as usual.
And on the 10th of July at 6:30, your ex-husband, Steve Johnson, was discovered with multiple stab wounds. Can you explain your whereabouts?
I told you I was at home, and I haven't seen that scumbag in years.
But you have no witnesses, Miss Huntington, and surely this can't be a coincidence, since your ex-husband's fiancée, Emily Stewart, was found fatally poisoned the very next day. Where were you?
I had an early night, officer.
And finally, your old friend Joey Finkel was left for dead at the back of an alleyway, shot in the back. We know you did it, just confess. Did you honestly think you were gonna get away with this?
You've got the wrong person, you have no evidence.
You have no evidence and no proof for your alibis. You have a motive and a connection to every victim. For that reason, I'm placing you under arrest for the murders of Vinnie Brookstein, Steve Johnson, Emily Stewart, and Joey Finkel. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention, when questioned, something you will later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
Hands. I didn't do anything.
So once you've developed your idea in this way, writing your script should now be pretty easy since you know exactly what's going to happen throughout all of your film. You're going to share your script with everyone who's helping you to make your film, so it's important that everyone is able to clearly understand the story in the way that you have it envisioned in your head. This is where script formatting comes in really handy. You've probably seen a film script. It looks like this. You'll recognize the typewriter style font and some editing phrases like cut to. This isn't just a Hollywood gimmick. This is an industry standard way to write scripts. Every film you've ever seen in the cinema started on a script that looks exactly like this. Once you know how to format your script, it's pretty easy to write it, and you'll also know how to read other scripts. Start each scene with a heading. This tells you where and when the action is taking place. If the scene takes place inside, use interior, or if it takes place outside, use exterior. Next, you include the time and the location. This can be as vague as America, 1970s, or as specific as a cozy kitchen, London, afternoon. Next, you need to write the action. The action should always be written in the present tense, and it should give readers a good description of what the audience will see and hear. And now we can start adding dialogue. Formatting dialogue is pretty simple. You just center and capitalize the name of the character, and then you write what they will say beneath that. It's important that you're consistent with your character name, so we're always clear about who is speaking. For example, our character was introduced as Man. So even if we found out that his name was Joe halfway through the film, the script will still refer to him as Man for the entire script. It doesn't matter what you call your character, whether you use their first name or a description of them, just be consistent. You can also add an extension to the name if the person is speaking off-screen. Man off-screen, or man voiceover, or man on the phone. If you want to give the director and the actor an important bit of information about how to deliver a specific line, you can use a parenthetical. It's a small note that goes in parentheses right below the character name, and it can tell the actor how to deliver the line. Softly, or as loud as possible, or tearfully, or laughing. Or you can also give them a small action to do, shrugging, or drawing his weapon, or leaning in. Try to only use these if it's really important to the story. Finally, you need to include transitions when you're changing into a new scene or location. This tells your editor how the scene should cut together. The most common transition is cut to, which means we just cut right from one scene into the next. But there's a lot of other great transitions you can use to help tell your story in a more interesting way. For example, smash to, a really sudden cut that happens right after another one and sometimes in the middle of a dialogue. Dissolve to, a slow transformative fade from one scene into the next, often used to show passing of time. Match cut to, when you cut the film so that the last shot from the previous scene matches the first shot in a new scene. Intercut. This is used when you're cutting back and forth between two different scenes, and it's often used for phone conversations when you want to see both characters that are on either end of the call, or also in chase sequences where you want us to see what's happening to the chaser and also the chasee. There are a lot of other helpful things you can add to enhance your script, and we'll give you some useful resources where you can learn more about writing scripts, but this should be enough to get you started on your first film. In the next lesson, we'll start talking about how to actually bring your story off the page and onto the big screen.
Hello? Where am I? Where's this? Hello, anybody out there? This isn't funny! Hello? Anybody out there? Hello? Anybody out there?